most meaningful efforts is the Keys Barn Legacy Project. This project focuses on refurbishing the physical structure connected to Black history in Pendleton. The Keys Barn is more than a place, it's a tangible link to the people that helped serve this town. Through careful research, documentation, and planning, the foundation is ensuring that this history will not be lost and that future generations understand its significance. In addition to preservation, the foundation is deeply committed to education and community engagement. Through programming, storytelling, and public events, they create opportunities for learning, reflection, and connection. This April, the foundation will host a community festival celebrating Black history and culture in Pendleton, an important opportunity to come together, build understanding, and honor the past while looking forward. Much of this work happens quietly through volunteer time, dedication, and a deep sense of responsibility to do the work the right way. That commitment deserves recognition. On behalf of Town Council and the Town of Pendleton, I want to thank the Pendleton Foundation for Black History and Culture for their leadership, their persistence, and their vision. We are grateful for the work you do to preserve history, strengthen community, and ensure that Pendleton's story is told fully and thoughtfully. We are proud to recognize you tonight, and we look forward to continuing to help bring awareness to your work in the months ahead. I have members public hearing, citizens' input on curbside recycling and bulk container services and potential service modifications or discontinuation. Our next agenda item is item 4, a public hearing to receive citizens' input on curbside recycling and bulk container services, including potential service modifications or discontinuation. I want to be very clear at the outset, no decisions will be made tonight. This public hearing is strictly an opportunity for residents to share feedback, concerns, and ideas related to these services. As Council discussed at our January meeting, this conversation is taking place due to increasing operational costs, service challenges, and the need to evaluate how we best deliver services in a financially responsible way while still meeting community needs. At this time, I will open the public hearing and ask our Public Works Director, Jay, to come forward and provide some background information to help with the discussion.
Mayor, Council, how y'all doing?
Hi, Jay.
So I've got a short 87 slide power, no, I'm kidding. It's 13, but I've got some numbers for you guys to consider. I had to do some notes. This is my 4th PowerPoint this week, so I'm a little skewed with numbers. But as we get going,
keep talking, Jay.
I'm just going to talk and it gets it up. Everything up here is bullet points. I've got my talking points right here. So I want to walk council through where sanitation costs are, how growth is impacting us, and how we can protect core trash services going forward. I can't talk about recycle and bulk containers without talking about sanitation as a whole. So I'm going to throw out a lot of numbers. They're going to be in ranges, and they're based off of our budget. The presentation will explain sanitation costs, why they're increasing, why growth matters, and how staff can protect reliable roll cart services. Just understand this is a financial and operational discussion. It's not a service failure discussion. And just keep in mind that sanitation is a service that council can choose to provide or not. It's not something that's mandatory through DHEC or anything. Hey. All right, slide 2. All right, so again, this isn't a service failure. It's about cost pressure, growth, and making sure our sanitation model keeps working as Pendleton grows. You're going to see real numbers, current costs, revenues, growth impacts, and note that sanitation is operating as designed, but external costs and expansion are driving losses right now. Sanitation costs increasing, service demands growing, and that our current model is not financially sustainable. This is about keeping roll cart service reliable as Pendleton grows. Slide 3. Right now, sanitation is responsible for everything on this list up here. These are essential public services. Others are market-driven or commercial-style services, which creates financial strain for us. Going to 4. So roll cart service will continue regardless of any changes. I'm pretty sure everybody knew that because that's kind of what our focus is. Leaf service, brush pickup, bulk pickup will remain core municipal services and are not being proposed for any type of elimination. Bulk and brush services can also be excessive or abnormal, which we deal with also. They are cost with that. So if you want to empty your house out, if you move and you want to put everything on the side of the road, we don't just pick that up. There's a cost associated with that. Sometimes folks don't like that, but we've only got so much room on our trucks to pick up at one time. All right, slide 5. So our staffing and our operational costs are relatively stable. The biggest pressure comes from disposal contracts, fuel, capital equipment, and growth-driven expansion. Breakdown costs, 3 full-time employees that I have in recycling right now cost the town $188,439 annual. And that's excluding the dollar per hour incentive for that guy to hang on the back of that truck, or the 2 guys that hang on the back of the truck going down the road. So they get $1 extra, and we hope to goodness they don't cause a workman's comp claim for us by falling off of it. So incentive, let's see. So fuel, truck maintenance, workers' comp, replacement carts. We've got probably another $100,000 that we add into that annually on that cost. Uniforms at $3,500 each is what we typically have by the 2 years up on each guy. So now we're looking at $10,500. 3-man truck, just a base without overtime is $62,813. So disposal, sanitation contracts alone, they're budgeted at $688,099 for 2026. Capital equipment spending this year totals $670,000, bringing sanitation budget to roughly $1.3 million. It's a lot of money. And slide 6. So revenue, let's talk about revenue. Sanitation fees bring about $32,000 in a month. We expect to service about 2,411 carts in fiscal year 27, and your revenue is going to range, so those ranges I was talking about, between $384,000 and $405,000. So when we have vacancies, people aren't charged their monthly fees. People sell their homes, they move, guys quit. We just have, there's issues that fluctuate those revenues yearly. And it's not a finite number that I can nail down. It's just fluctuates, unfortunately. Bulk containers generate around $55,000. I think the exact number is $55,302. That's annually. So total revenue, and let's say we'll use the low end, $384,000. So the total revenue is about $439,000 a year that sanitation will bring in. So total fixed expenses is about $743,298. This includes the 2 employees that I have to pull off our streets department to work sanitation. We have to run 2 trucks currently because of weight. The trucks are only allowed to hold so much weight by law. So we've had to cut weight. So we have to run 2 trash trucks and a recycle truck. So our cost is driven, and the streets department is basically non-existent. For everybody who sees that street sign that's down or is missing a sign, I don't have a street department right now. We get it when we can. You need your right of way cut, streets. Your ditch is filled up, needs to be ditched, streets. Needs a parking lot marked, that's streets. Thermoplastic, streets. I can't do any of that. I have to cut the weights on trash. So our total debt service payment, look at this at your vehicle payment. It's $217,907 monthly that we have to pay on trucks to get the trash up. So as a total, we're budgeted with the numbers, 964,391 with just those numbers. So we're running a loss at $525,391 every year right now. That's our loss in sanitation. So it's easy to say $500,000 we're losing every year. So cart costs, they're $14 each. If you want another cart, it's $79. That's not going to put much of a dent in any of these costs. But I'll tell you here in just a second what it will do. So just understand this is structural. It's not mismanagement. And unfortunately, fees do not currently reflect the true cost of the service. Slide 7. All right, why recycling alone does not solve this issue. Recycling is tied operationally to bulk dumpsters, which currently generates that $55,302 in annual profit. So if we eliminate both, that removes that revenue. So where are we going to make it up? The quickest way, you add about $2 to your cart fee. So it goes to $14 to $16. It don't take it all, but it takes the vast majority of that loss. If you want to look at covering the full deficit, you're looking at $34 a cart. I don't think anybody wants to pay $34 a cart. So $34, that will cover leaf, brush, bulk, and whatever we have to maintain on recycling center and or a cardboard route or dumpsters, whichever is decided to do with cardboard. Don't get scared because I throw that number out. Nobody has made these decisions on any of this. I'm just saying that's what it would take to cover that loss. So slide 8, growth is compounding our issue. New subdivision, Sunrise, when it comes on, it's 142 lots. Belvedere 2 or Lawton Ridge, you're looking at 72 lots. Central Road's got another 26 coming. And we're probably going to have to add an additional trash route just to cover this. I don't want to adjust routes because people are used to their routes and they want to keep them. I'll do my best to keep you where you are right now, but we're probably at some point going to have to make an adjustment just due to these subdivisions coming online. We had 124 new homes that were permitted in 25. So this means more labor, more fuel, equipment, disposal costs, regardless of recycling decisions. We've got costs coming. So slide 9, we're getting there. I'm going to frame the core problem. Sanitation is managing 3 different risk profiles. We've got trash collection, we've got a commodity market recycling, and we've got commercial style dumpster service. It's all within one budget. So trash collection is an ordinance mandated service. Town service levels to ensure waste is removed regularly to protect health, safety, and the environment. And recycling works kind of like a commodity market. Materials we collect, cardboard, plastic, metals, they have prices that go up and down just like crops and fuel. When prices are good, recycling costs less. When prices drop or contamination rises, which is what we're facing right now, prices, the town pays more to get rid of it. So dumpster service functions like a commercial utility. It's an optional usage-based service that private companies are designed to provide more efficiently than we are. I don't know if anybody's ever paid any attention to the way we do dumpsters. It's very antiquated. It's a winch system on the back. It takes 3 guys. Where if you go to downtown Anderson or Clemson, you see them coming there, one guy in a truck, picks it from the front and dumps it. I don't think anybody here wants to buy a $500,000 truck and to go to that type of service. It's not something I see that's essential for us. So all of this makes costs unpredictable and it's difficult to control. Go to slide 10. So recommendation, I'd like for the town to focus on predictable core services like roll carts, leaf service, brush, and I use the term limited bulk pickup because I think bulk by itself is very misleading. Like the folks, like I said, like want to empty their house out. We'll get it. You just need to come pay that little fee so we can take that truck straight to Star or Belton or wherever we got to go, because it's going to be a one-shot deal with that. And then while transitioning dumpsters and optional cardboard dumpsters to private providers, recycling can still be utilized at 1600 East Queen. That's right in front of Public Works. We've got a recycling center there. It gets used, trust me. We may have to talk to them about servicing it a little more often than what they do. So going into 11, what does this accomplish financially and operationally? It's going to slow future cost growth. It's going to remove market risk from the town. It focuses staff and equipment on sanitation services and still preserves recycling access through private or county options. So what are we requesting of our council? Confirmation of core municipal services. It's basically the input that we'll get tonight, what council decides on. Authorization to transition recycling and dumpsters to private providers, and guidance on future sanitation fee adjustments. Growth makes action necessary at this point. We're growing too fast to keep up with everything. And if anybody's interested, I do have numbers from the last 3 months, but I won't bore you with it unless you want it.
Thanks, Jay. Before I ask members of our public to come speak, I was wondering if I could ask you a couple
Yes,
questions.
ma'am. Absolutely.
What percentage of what is actually being placed on the curb to be recycled is actually recycled?
Currently, none of it is contaminated.
So-
That is the biggest problem we're having right now is we have so much household trash that's being put in those 18-gallon totes. We have glass, we have the unwashed plastics, we have kitty litter that's bagged. The folks that like to clean up after the dogs in the yard, they throw it in the tote. And we literally just don't have time. We've tried not picking it up, and then town hall gets inundated with calls. Why aren't you picking up my recycling? We put flyers out. No change. And that's not to say that we don't have folks that are doing their part. Holistically, I don't think we have had a recycle truck make it to the center since August of last year because contamination is so high. And it seems like the more we tried to put out the education or the paperwork or the rules, it just got worse. We have some folks that may have 4 or 5 totes and it's just full of trash. It's just another roll cart, unfortunately.
Is there do members of council have any questions for Jay?
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that, you talked about, and I don't think people realize, whether or not we get new houses, this is an issue that's going to have to be addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it just is. And I want to know, are we needing, I know we're gonna be, with everything new coming out, I know we're gonna need more equipment.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
also gonna need better upkeep or more appointed upkeep of what we have. But what are we looking at as far as personnel? Because I think people, people are really quick to say,
Yeah.
well, they don't do anything, they're not doing this. And, these guys do more than ride the truck.
Oh, yeah.
But they also need to realize that there's more to what needs to be done than just picking up the garbage. We have, you're already pulling people off of different, projects within Public Works to pick up trash.
Mhm.
So what are we looking at as far as increasing personnel?
I'll take as many as y'all would give me, but, well, let me, I know that's everybody, give me more guys. So currently, like if we kept running sanitation, how we have done it in the past, traditionally with the trucks we have, I need 3 guys per truck. So I need a minimum of 9 people in sanitation to run daily routes. Now with the side loader, currently I'm doing it with 8 because I still have a employee with him because we're going through that adjustment phase. Folks don't know how to place their carts yet. We've got stickers we're putting on the carts that point them which way to go, or they place it beside their car, or right beside their recycle tote. So there shouldn't be anything within 3 feet around that cart so that truck can grab it. Once folks get used to that, I can run one-man truck with that side loader. Problem is, if we continue to do recycling dumpsters, that requires a 3-man setup. Because those trucks are designed for a rear load. They're not, the totes aren't designed to be picked up by a side loader. I mean, I wouldn't even say 1 guy on the back of a recycle truck because just the amount of totes, you need 2 guys back there.
So with the dumpsters, do businesses pay like a monthly fee like we do for roll carts?
Yes, ma'am.
And doing away with the dumpsters, they can contract. There are plenty of
They
services
can.
I know.
So there would be, if that's the route that we end up going that's decided on, there should probably be a phase period to where this date, the town looks to go away from our dumpster service. We could even give a list of services around that they could even call and price. Now, as far as the replacement on the dumpsters, I don't know if that's something the town obviously would have to pull ours in because the ones we use now will not work for a front loader recycle truck or dumpster truck, I should
But
say.
is this something, and I don't know this, David, I'm gonna have to have you put on your hat, your other hat. When a business comes in, is dumpster fees part of a business license? Is this, or you look at what type of business it is and say, look, you got to have a dumpster?
Well, we refer them, if they have to have a dumpster, we refer them to Public Works for them to work out whatever they need.
Okay.
So we didn't handle that in the planning.
Okay, so it's nothing that we're saying, oh, you get this for being a business in Pendleton.
Only if they requested, from what I understand.
Yeah, we do have some places that have a private service. There's very few.
Right, but I mean, when we look at what the cost effective and where we've got to cut, then I think if we roll out a program with the businesses with these dumpsters carts, and I don't know, but I'm quite sure, depending, because I look at how trash pickup is outside the city, and there are plenty of people with these businesses. So I'm assuming with enough leeway, they can,
Right.
it'll be basically what they're paying now.
I would assume,
yeah.
It should be close. I have not looked
Okay.
at commercial call for private.
My last question for you is, are there other communities surrounding us that still do curbside recycling, or?
No, ma'am, we're it.
Okay.
I think Clemson might have been the last, and they ended in 22, I believe. So we're it.
Great, thank you.
And one of the things that hurt us too, some of this is old news, but in 2018, China's national sword policy, they restricted the intake of a lot of the recycled materials that we would ship to them. So now we're having to deal with it here. So cost have went up because China's like, yeah, we're tired of getting the U.S.'s trash, basically. So that kind of hurt.
Jay, I have one question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What percentage of the homes in Pendleton will not be able to use the side loading truck because of their way they're positioned? Certainly some on East Queen have that condition.
I have been pleasantly surprised that Willie has been able every route to utilize that truck. Now, that's not to say, no, let me back up. Church Street would be a prime example. I would not want him to back down Church Street in that thing. As a matter of fact, we would probably consider that a short street to where after the route, we would go back in a truck, like a pickup. And we do that with some places already that are tight alleyways. Falls of Meehan, I believe, has a alleyway that we have to do the same service with. Just because either truck we have just won't fit in there.
So regardless of when we get to the side loader, where that is our primary means of picking up the roller carts,
Yes, ma'am.
we're still going to have a need to have additional service to get narrow roads and inaccessible homes. Is that correct?
Yes, but it is a very small footprint.
Okay.
Very small. I'm talking about we get it with a pickup truck currently. That's how small it is.
Are we requiring, when new developments come and they're doing, in the planning and development stage, are we going to, and this may go to UDO as well, are we going to say to them, this is the dimensions you need, so we can make sure that your trucks are in their pickup?
No, they're pretty standard. It will fit. The problem we run into is people parking in the road. It ain't so much the dimension or width of the roads, even the cul-de-sacs, it's the folks that park. And it happens, we'll have them park on this side of the road and the neighbor right here will park here and you can't even drive a Volkswagen between them, much less a 50,000-pound truck. We do make a point to try to get out and knock on doors and ask, hey, can you move your vehicle so we can get through? Because we don't want to refuse or not pick anybody up if they're expecting their service. Nobody wants to come home and find their trash can at their driveway still full. It happens. I'm sorry. It happens.
I appreciate your time and your presentation, Jay.
Yes, ma'am.
At this point, I'm going to open up the floor to public comments. Just as a reminder, comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Speaker must be a Pendleton resident, business owner, or town property owner. And we do ask that you please state your name and address for the record. And we ask that the comments remain respectful and focus on the topic at hand. Any public comments?
I am Hattie Cobb, 219 Winston Street. We don't know what's going on in the meeting unless it's hearsay. Like they had a special thing for Miss Marion, we did not know about it. I think everybody in the ward didn't know East Council. Plus, number two, I believe we're in secondary area because no ice. Whenever you do get snow or ice, they don't have nothing for people to come down the road, no dirt or nothing. So that's the main thing of mine. And I want to say that, and we have a whole lot of neighbors in Ward 3. We don't know who they are and where they're coming from. We didn't know that. We need to know that. We need to know the town, the policeman area. We don't know that. We need to have a special communication with them in the family Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you. And these comments we will have time for public comments later in the meeting, but these comments are specifically related to citizen input on curbside recycling and bulk container services.
Hello, I'm Greg. I live on Buchanan Circle.
You're here?
Greg.
I didn't hear your name, that's all.
Greg
Last name?
Anderson.
Thank you.
I had a few questions about the presentation you did.
Yes, sir.
What was,
It's just comments. It's just comments. It's just public comments.
what do you mean?
You just make comments. You can't question to one individual.
I can't ask about the presentation. Okay, so I'll ask anyone who can answer. I have a question about the presentation. Or do I have to say my comment is I didn't hear something on the presentation? Can you go over, whoever can answer this, can you please go over the uniform costs? I missed what you said.
Jay, I have a question for you. Can you please go over the uniform cost? We'll find a workaround. I got you.
I can. So currently we're looking, it costs about 3,500 each guy for the uniforms. Now, that's not just a pair of pants and a buttoned-up shirt. That's standard is 11 pair of pants are issued, 11 shirts, rain gear, cold weather gear, gloves, caps, boots, and replacement of those as they wear out, because we also do have what we do. We're going to do a casual Friday where we got some t-shirts for the guys as well. So that over a year's time frame, 3,500 is really on the lower end for that type of equipment.
So that's what? So $300 per month per person?
Probably
292?
Yeah, because we go through a service to handle that.
Okay, so, I mean, I understand the clothing you described doesn't sound like something anyone wears day to day, but could you,
Back of the truck, you will.
right. No, I'm saying it's not like what I'm wearing now. I understand it's specific clothing. Could you have some kind of stockpile of it so that everyone doesn't need to get issued the bulk at once, and as they wear out, issue them?
For what I stockpile it.
Greg, could you purchase things in bulk? Or sorry, Jay, could you purchase things in bulk?
We could, but I don't have the means to store it anywhere. It's typically done through a service where everything is laundered and any kind of damage is taken care of to the clothing as it's turned in. And it also allows us to track the clothing, because everything is scanned in through this company. So it's an accountability thing as well.
All right, I'm gonna move on. I have more. I'll email about that. Also, you mentioned that it's possible to go to cardboard only. Cardboard pickup. Isn't metal the most valuable recycled item per weight?
We're out of time. I will try to rephrase your question because I'm allowed to ask questions. Jay, can you describe if metal is a recyclable item and if we can get money for that?
It very much is for the private community, but there's no public works that I'm tracking that does metal pickup. It's typically recycled materials, which is your plastics, your corrugated cardboard, not pizza boxes. We get a lot of those, but no glass. We don't even do glass. So if you want to do metal, that is something that most people do on their own on the private side, or they have somebody come in and pick it up and get paid for it, and then they take it somewhere and process it to the center.
And I will say, Greg, that Jay is wonderful at responding to emails and responds like right away. And I know this because I get copied on all of these messages. So feel
I'll send
free.
some emails.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why I can't ask a question here.
Because it's for public comment.
So you can you can propose anything and no one can ask about it? Can I ask if it's factual? I mean, that's a
What
question.
we're doing, this is what this was for. Jay did the presentation, and basically the comments are, we want to know your comments on how people feel about recycling and where it's going. This is not a question and answer. And right now, we're just wanting to know what people feel. We're not even voting on this tonight. This is for information only, which is why we're not taking questions. But if somebody has a question, they can, respond to any of us on council or Jay himself, or better yet, if you want to set up a meeting to come and sit down and talk one-on-one with any of us, and especially Jay, that's what it is. But this is just an information gathering session for us. So if you want to state that you think we ought to, you can make a statement how you feel about recycling and where it's going. But your time is up now, so we have to bring somebody else.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I feel like it would be beneficial for everyone who spent time to come out here to hear my question, because maybe other people have a question. So I don't understand why you're making it so rigid that we can't say certain things.
We're not doing that. What we're doing, and this is the way it's been working for years and years. I suggested if you have a problem with how we do the procedures for town council, that sometime you come and set a meeting with us and go over your concerns.
Okay, my comment is I have a problem with how you do it. Good night.
Did not?
Are there any other public comments in regard to citizen input on curbside recycling and bulk container services?
Hi, I'm Teresa Horton. I live on 415 Westminster Drive in the Hood, and I love recycling. I'll be honest with you. When we started it, I went around and tried to educate my whole neighborhood. I love it, and it makes it really simple. Even though I do take my glass out there, I take my plastic bags to Food Lion, and I do the cans at the fire department. And so now it's heartbreaking to say, but yeah, I just agree with a lot of the discussion and with Jay with the cost of it's so expensive that to keep that curbside recycling going is just a hard thing to do for our town. And I hate to see it go, but the ones of us who want to recycle, there's still conveniences close right around here to do it. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. And I don't want it to be a question since it's public comments, but I hadn't really seen the lift truck, the new one, much. I think it came through my hood once. But it seems like it had to do 2 laps because it picks up on one side of the road and then it makes another lap to pick up the other side. Is there a way that, nope, it's not a question, just so that they only have to do 1 lap? Have we looked at that kind of stuff? I don't know, Jay.
It does have to make some rounds because it is.
Because they're on both sides of the
it's
street.
one side. The only way to remedy that is if everybody will put their trash cans on one side of the street, and I'm guarantee you that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So we'll go down and come back through.
Okay, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
I hadn't planned to speak tonight, but in listening to
Name?
Mona Fleming, 209 Plantation Drive, Pendleton, South Carolina, 29670. Okay. I think most of the people up here knew me. Anyway, when I worked, there was a phrase that I used sometime that said, "Your lack of planning should not constitute an emergency for the office staff." Now, I'm using that as an example because we right now have an emergency with recycling. And I just want to say the UDO's coming on. I appreciate everything everybody in this office of town does, but lack of planning has created this emergency.
Hi, Lisa Kiefer, 694 Pinewood Drive. It's much scarier on this side than that side, so if I stutter, apologies. First, I want to thank all the public works employees. You have a very hard and often truly thankless job, and you keep this town running clean and timely, and it's really, really appreciated. And Jay, I really appreciate your transparency in the numbers. As a person who is fairly new to this town, who grew up with single stream curbside recycling, I was not aware of the expense and scope of work that Public Works does. And so I really appreciate you creating that transparency for the residents. That said, I think we are at a point with challenge in our growth and our planning. Town residents have not been set up for success to make recycling, whether that's single stream or cardboard only, successful. One of the main errors with contamination is wet cardboard. Our bins are open container. We live in the South, it rains, cardboard gets wet, it's now trash. And those are hard containers for the employees to work with on a daily basis. Before council decides on a path forward, I would encourage looking at infrastructure changes to see if a lidded bin service, regardless if that's cardboard, single stream or other, is viable as a sustainable solution. One that would be compatible with a side lift one-man truck would be incredible and critical if we are going to do recycling. I think there also does need to be robust and community engagement. It is hard when you get a flyer on your trash lid to not have it fall in the bin. I'm sorry, some of that happens. communication has gone really well over the last couple of years, and I know it's going to continue to be remarkable. But if we want to do recycling, people need to know how to do it correctly, and there's a lot of rules to follow, and it's not universal between counties or municipalities, and it's often easy to get incorrect. And then I do want to touch on, we are growing rapidly, and we do need a plan on how we're going to set up our residents and our town staff for success in our infrastructure changes, whether that's removing bulk pickup and recycling. If that's the case, I would request that the town provide a list of recommended contractors. This is a common thing in different municipalities, that they contract out all waste treatment and they provide a list to residents so they can select their one if they decide to utilize that service. I know there's a lot of work being done on this, and so thank you, and I'm sure it's going to be a great solution in the end.
Good evening. My name's Angela Viney, and I'm new to the community. I've only been here a little over 2 months, and I've been very impressed with the town of Pendleton. For a small community, you've got, I mean, you're doing everything. I get a daily, or sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, update on what's going on, especially now with the storm and such. But in regards to the recycling and waste, I think we're doing a great job with recycling. What we probably lack is some additional information, education. Education is key. Now, I know we just got those door tags. They were great. But what would really help, and the first time I ever went to Queen Street to use that facility, I noticed there's really no signs that say what they take. And people were throwing everything in there, and then they're throwing cardboard boxes that are not even broken down. I spent one afternoon breaking all the cardboard boxes down so that people could put more in. Otherwise, they're on the ground. So we need some additional education, I think. But I appreciate all that everybody does. Thank you.
Any other comments related to curbside recycling and bulk container services?
Kim Wintermark, 336 South Broad. As I understand it, by taking away the curbside recycling, everything that's being taken away now, we can do ourselves right down there on Queen, correct? So if that's it, my comment is to save money. I also am very glad that I believe I'm not seeing any employees go, and they'll just shift it and we'll get some more help in other areas. Great move. And I can get off my butt and take my recycling down there. So I don't see any reason, I don't see where the loss is to me as a citizen. So that's it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, I appreciate, thank you to everyone who shared comments this evening. Your input's important and we really do appreciate it. Seeing no further speakers, I will now close the public hearing. Council will take this information under advisement and any further discussion or action will occur at a later meeting. Moving on, next we will move on to item 5, approval of the minutes. Item 5A is the consideration of minutes from the following meetings: January 6, 2026, regular town council meeting, January 12th, 2026, called meeting, January 22nd, 2026, called meeting. Council has received these minutes in advance for review. At this time, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Motion to approve is presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. At this time, we will open the floor for public comments. These comments can be about anything. As a reminder, these remarks are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and may be made by Pendleton residents, business owners, and town property owners. Please begin by stating your name and address for the record, and we welcome your comments.
Teresa Horton, 415 Westminster Drive. And I just want to say thank you to David for checking on the hood, for going to the trouble of looking at the Duke power outage map during the storm And the only neighborhood that didn't have power during that time was my neighborhood. And you called our ward lady, and she let us know that. And we appreciate you for doing that as our police chief, not as our planning person, but as our police chief, because I've never known of that being done before. And I just appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Thank you so much.
Carrie Fleming, 204 East Queen Street. I would just like to urge the council, when you consider later in the meeting the resolution, to ask South Carolina DOT to consider a four-way stop at the split at Mechanic and Broad. I can guarantee you that all that's going to do is make traffic go up North Broad Street. People are not going to stop there when they're going right. Certainly isn't going to do a thing to stop trucks in town. I would urge you to change that, to have them look at putting a four-way stop at Meehan Falls at that intersection where the light is. Because if those trucks come off and they have to stop immediately at Meehan Falls, it's going to be discouraging. I would also ask them to consider a four-way stop right here where the bridge is. Because I don't know how many other people have had it happen, but I've been turning left to come up here and had 1 million people not stop at that stop sign and almost had head-on collisions. If there was a full stop there, whether you're going straight on Queen or going left to follow 88, we wouldn't have that issue. And again, trucks would have another stop. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there someone? Come on, come on.
All right, Barbara, Mona Fleming, 209 Plantation Drive, Pendleton. I am clarifying what I said before. As I said, I thank everybody on council and who work in this building. What I meant by lack of planning is, and all of you have been on council,
60 days.
well, no, 3 years or less. And so what I'm saying is, when we get a call from developers to develop, then there needs to be a whole list of things that those developers have to know. And one of them is, how is it going to affect public works? And I brought this up when Steve and former public works people, when brush was not getting picked up. And the excuse was, well, we have all these new neighborhoods. That's lack of planning. If you've got new neighborhoods, you've got this many more brush pickups, garbage pickups, recycling pickups, if that is continued. There needs to be some checks and balances so that we don't just come in here and check off new growth. Yes, South Carolina is growing rapidly, but there are stipulations. These developers are making a hell of a lot of money, and therefore they should work on parking, work on playgrounds, work on a green space, and that should be mandated by this town. And when the town decides on it, then those developers need to know, and the town needs to know, we have this many more pickups now. And that is what I meant by lack of planning. When I sat down, I said, people think I'm ungrateful to this town. I've lived here 40 plus years. My entire career was spent here, and I love this town. And I think everybody sitting up here knows that. But we have got to start planning. Because I asked that question years ago. And my brush still didn't get picked up for 2 years.
Lindsay Watley, 170 Grand Oak Circle. So I'm speaking as a resident. Over 50 Pendleton folks gathered at the community center and at the Jenkins House on January 19th, 2026 in the cold and wind. I can confirm it was very cold. Chief David Polson provided blue light cover on Central Road, and the town provided donuts, coffee, juice at both work sites. Our little litter patrols were a little short on bags because they'd done so much pickup during the fall and between all of our town events. We picked up litter on Central Road, Brown, West, and East Queen, Keys, North and South Mechanic, Crenshaw, Greenville, and Lebanon, and the crews picked up 70 bags of trash and did a thorough job of getting that roadside trash picked up before the winter storm. The crews at Jenkins House, which is where I was, planted trees, spread mulch, cleaned up the trails and the grounds, and helped get the historic home ready for the grand opening in February. Sue Watts, shout out to Sue, she's a saint, worked with the children to plant bur oak acorns. Not only did she teach them how to plant them, but she talked about the viability or whether or not they're viable to be planted. So they dropped them in water and they float and they sank, and she talked to the kids about that, which was lovely to see. The full trail is now open, and we'll have more mulch spreading this spring and more trees. So I'm up here to say thank you to the volunteers who showed up. And these are people who live here and who work here and who love Pendleton. They're not getting paid to pick up trash. They're literally taking time out of their day to freeze and pick up trash for the community. And it's a wonderful thing. Before I came to Pendleton, I worked for another municipality and I've lived in another city. And that's one of the things moving here and being part of the town that is so special, is that sense of community and the volunteers that come out to help simply because they want to make Pendleton beautiful. So our next day of service is March 28th with Pendleton Pride in Motion. So if you're interested in that, you can talk to Nancy and Pendleton, the Pendleton Pride in Motion about that. So just came to say that and let everybody know about what we did on January 19th. Thank you.
Yeah, Theodore Adger, 404 North Mechanic Street. My question is, where do the towns stand with regards to the road closure on Moore Street? Yes, it's been closed for quite some time now.
Steve will address that in his.
Oh, okay.
We will get that addressed for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, that's, no, don't, thank you.
Excuse me, I had a call 219 West Street. I would like to say Bernice Marin and Hattie Cobb, the oldest one, on Ward 3. We're the oldest one. We're in there 80-something years.
80-something years.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no more public comments, I'm going to close public comments. Next, we move to item 7, council's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Were you closing?
Yes, I was going to. Do you have a public comment? Okay.
Sorry, it's difficult to hear back there. My name's Alex Zimborski. I'm at 1200 Cherry Street Extension, just outside the city limits. My wife and I live there on a horse farm. And I just want to take issue with what Barbara had said earlier. I understand the town has rules for the conduct of its meeting. In this American democracy, we elect people and we expect them to listen to what the public says and to be answerable to what the public says. If this is not the forum for it, I don't know what this podium's for. In another instance, I have a difficulty following council rules when council continues to completely ignore certain state rules regarding executive session and regarding the ability of an adjacent property owner to speak when an issue appears relative to adjoining property. So you are not with clean hands. So let's be careful about what we permit and what we disallow. I appreciate your time, and I'd be willing to comment further on those items I mentioned at any point in time. What I'd like to add is it's not a suitable alternate to ask us to approach council people individually. We have no confidence that what is told us in confidence one-on-one, that the council will stand behind that when it convenes as a group. So one is not a substitute for the other. Thank you for your time.
May I respond?
No, I'm just here comments. All right. Any other public comments? Seeing no one step forward for public comments, I'm going to close public comments. Next, we will move to item 7, council's comments and reports. So this portion of the agenda provides council members the opportunity to share updates, observations, and information relevant to their roles and committee assignments. I'll begin with Councilwoman Barbara Hamburg. Councilwoman Hamburg serves as the council's liaison to the Pendleton Volunteer Fire Department. Barbara, I'm going to turn it over to you for any updates you'd like to share.
We have no updates at this time.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'll recognize Councilman Jeff Vandry. Councilman Vandry serves as the council's liaison to the Pendleton Recreation Association. Jeff, I'll turn it over to you for any updates or reports.
Sure. Yeah, the winter 2026 winter basketball season has seen strong community engagement with 162 total registrations, allowing the formation of 20 teams across all age divisions. One of the highlights is that the formation of a dedicated all-girls 8 and under team. This is the first time since at least 2023 that the organization has had sufficient registration numbers to field an all-girls team in this division, marking a significant milestone for the growth of girls sports in Pendleton. The PRA board has been active in securing facility improvements, enhancing safety protocols, and strengthening the organization's financial health. Out at Veterans Park, Field 2 is being renovated. Excuse me. Major renovations are underway. Grading and side installation are largely complete, with final work expected to be finished by mid-February. There's new equipment. A new pitching mound has been delivered for the baseball program, and fence poles and caps have been ordered to upgrade field safety and aesthetics. The PRA is working closely with the town to finalize additional improvements, including temporary fence for T-ball and foul poles. The board recently approved the purchase of used synthetic turf to further enhance facility durability and usability. And discussions are ongoing regarding the construction of a new 20 by 24 metal storage building to better house equipment, with potential town council approval targeted for March. They've established set up a lightning detection system to ensure player and spectator safety. We're moving forward with the installation of that lighting detection system at Veterans Park to standardize field closure protocols during inclement weather. The board is exploring opportunities to expand safety training for director level staff, including CPR, first aid, and AED certifications, potentially in collaboration with town training sessions. A new financial aid policy and procedures guide have been adopted to formalize the process for granting aid, ensuring that financial barriers do not prevent local youth from participating in sports. Recent fundraising efforts have generated $19,000, and they have new banking protocols and oversight procedures implemented to protect organizational funds. And the last thing is strategic planning. The board has approved participation in confidential exploratory discussions regarding long-term facilities planning, ensuring that PRA is prepared to meet the future needs of Pendleton's growing population.
Thank you, Jeff. And will you remind us of when the PRA's meetings are?
They're tomorrow, the first Wednesday of every month, and they're welcome. They're right here, and more than welcome to come and get involved any way you want.
What time?
6:30.
6:30. And I'm gonna ask Barbara to share something about the fire department. And can you also share when their meetings are? They have 2 a month.
That I don't have the information on the meetings because I have not attended. That was health related, wasn't age related. One of the things I do want to report on, we did have a public comment session and information session really on the new substation that'll be going out on Highway 76. We haven't made a vote on that yet. You can go online to YouTube and see that session. There were people who did watch online. We did have a good session with questions and answers. This is something that is needed out on that side of town. So please, if you need to approach any of us, do so, and the fire department. What is happening is we have a person who is donating the building, and it will be fitted for our fire needs. What is happening is the fire department is not coming to us asking for money. What they're asking for is the release of the funds that we hold for them. This is money that has been allocated through our state legislature at a time, and if we don't spend it, we can lose it. That has happened once before in the past. We had more money allocated, didn't get used, got taken back. So that's where we are. Thank you.
I just want to make a clarification. I don't think they're donating the building. The fire department
is buying the building.
Purchase.
Yes, they're purchasing the building. My bad.
Next, we will move into departmental reports. We'll begin with the police department. Chief Paulson, thank you for being here. Please share your report.
Mayor, Council, good evening. First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you so much for the comments. They really mean a whole lot more than you'll ever know, so we appreciate that. January was a pretty busy month for us. We answered over 635 calls for service. In that same month, we did 28 reports, 8 of which were cleared by arrest or a warrant. Additionally, we had 97 warning tickets issued and 34 state citations were issued. One of the things that I'm really excited about, and one of our goals this year, is our community outreach engagement that we're going to do, is really trying to get the community involved with our police officers and our police department involved with their community. We are partnering with Wake and Bake restaurant, which is on Mechanic Street down by Falls of Meehan, on February the 27th between 5:30 and 6:30. I'm going to have all the officers there. I'll be there. Come up there. We're going to be there for an hour. We're going to sit there, come have coffee with us. Miss Barbie, who owns Wake and Bake, has been very gracious. She said she would donate the coffee, come sit with us. Now, I did tell her that there was no way that we could have a room full of police officers and no donuts around. So, I cannot confirm or deny that there may be some donuts passed around. So just please come out and see us. The other thing that we're really doing, I'm excited about, is February the 10th, which I believe is next Tuesday. We're doing a listening session with Miss Nancy Von Meyer at the library. Come on out. Let's sit down. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to bring it to me. And I promise you, I did not ask Ms. Cobb come to speak tonight because, she brought that up and I didn't ask her to ask. So that was great. So last year, further in the report, last year we were able to install some license plate reading cameras in our vehicles. So we've got, I think, 4 of them in our cars. What that technology allows us to do, if we have a stolen car or something like that, or a missing person or a missing adult, and they know they're in a vehicle, we can take that vehicle information, put it in a report. It enters their license plate number in the system. And if one of our officers is behind the car, it alerts them and says, hey, this is a car you need to look at. So if it's stolen or, you're missing or something like that. So it's a technology that we put into place. It's really paid off. Officer Wallace was able to recover a stolen vehicle utilizing this technology. The incident also led to the seizure of 6.25 grams of methamphetamines and an arrest for the stolen vehicle. So it's a really great technology tool that we have, and it's really, really paying off. As part of our continued investigation from the joint operation that we talked about last month, where we did the search warrant, the federal search warrants with the DEA, Anderson County, and all those other agencies, the police department, this month, we seized approximately 267 grams of methamphetamine. Although we haven't tied a body to that methamphetamine yet, we're still working towards that. But just to kind of put that in perspective, typically when we see something like this on the street, you're dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4 grams of methamphetamine. That's about that size right there is what you're looking for. What we recovered here was a half of a pound of methamphetamine. It's one of the biggest mess that I've seen since I've been here. It has a street value of almost $10,000. And like I said, we haven't been able to tie that to an individual yet. We're still working through that. But at the bare minimum, we got a half a pound of meth off the street. So that was a very important and very good thing. It was a very large operation. I was very proud of all the officers that we have in the department because everybody was able to get in that investigation. The Pendleton Police Department also assisted with the winter storm the weekend of January 23rd through January 26th. This was the ice storm we had. Again, I want to echo the mayor's comments, say thank you so much Throughout that whole weekend, we did not work one accident. We only had one tree that fell, and Jay was able to get that out. So again, I just want to say thank you to you citizens for not getting out there, listening to us, and understanding that, you know, that ice is a bad thing. So thank you for doing that. And then lastly, the Pendleton Police Department assisted Anderson County with a shooting here in town. We had a young man that got shot in the arm. The sheriff's office actually investigated this, and we really appreciate the work they did. They were able to close that case out with an arrest of 2 juveniles. I know that the sheriff's office committed a lot of time to this. I mean, we appreciate what they did because it would have really put a strain on us. We absolutely could have done it. We have the capabilities to do it, but because they had already started it, it really went smoothly. So hopefully that'll end in a nice resolution. One last thing that I did receive an email from a Liam Chandler, who was really wanting to come in, Officer Wallace, for something he helped him with at the car wash in town. So I wanted to just make sure we brought that up. And that's all I have, Mrs. Mayor, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if anybody has any. Good, thank you.
Thank you, David.
I'm next gonna ask our town administrator to come and make or deliver a report, and also to address some of the planning things. But before Steve talks, I want to say that I have received a lot of complaints about brush and trees that are encroaching and impeding our sidewalks in town. And I have asked code enforcement to start going out and talking or communicating with property owners that have brush encroaching on sidewalks. So I just want to make a public comment, make the public aware that I have been receiving a lot of complaints. I was in my office yesterday, and it was just residents over and over again, and that seemed to be the constant theme for about 3 hours. And so I wanted to make sure that I addressed that before Steve did, so you knew that that's why we were going to be talking to those residents. And then Steve, you also make sure to address the question that was posed at the podium. Thank you.
Last month was actually a somewhat productive month for planning. Owen found 6 businesses in town operating without a business license. That's a $436 in business license fees that he was able to collect. We also met, Owen, David, me, and Officer Bishop met with the Falls of Meehan HOA at the library to talk about parking, to talk about how Jay can't drive his garbage trucks through there because, you know, that was actually what sprung that on. So we had about a 2-hour meeting with them. They're looking at some ways to work with their residents and taking on some self-policing type items. So that was a good meeting. We explained to them what we can do from both a planning standpoint and an enforcement standpoint, and reiterate to them, we don't like to go out and write tickets if y'all can handle it yourself, because it's always better before you handle it before we handle it. January 12th, we had a meeting with council as far as the Village Hills Design Overlay District with Rebecca Vance, and we have taken back some information on that, and we're working on drafting the new ordinance with those inputs in there. And then on the 22nd, Owen and participated with Jay. We have a house being built on Vance Street, and they have a little bit of problem tying into the sewer. They're going to have to pump down to our sewer line, which is going to cause an encroachment permit and possibly some right-of-way acquisitions if they have to get it from some adjacent properties. We have a planning commission on the 12th, and then the UDO steering committee on the 17th. And then for permits, we issued 12 permits. 6 of those were for new homes. 1 was for a roof, 2 were for grading, and 1 was for interior renovation. 1 was for building addition, and 1 was an encroachment permit. And an encroachment permit's when anybody works in our right of way. They have to get a permit from us to have permission to work in our right of way. That way we know if they damage our sewer lines or water lines or cut the road open, don't repair it, you know, we know who to go after. As far as mine goes for the month, the most interesting report of everybody's. If you like numbers, it is. So we had our bill date on 1/20. We billed 8,500,000 gallons of water. That was $85,000 in revenue, and 7.8 million gallons of sewer. It's $105,000 in revenue. and we billed $35,404 in the flat rate sewer billing. Some general updates. Again, I want to thank my staff and team for preparing for the winter storm. They obviously listened during Helene because we were very well prepared, and that says a lot. We did have some people stay overnight to watch a couple things. Didn't have a whole lot of major issues. We were more worried about the ice than we were the snow. The only thing with the ice is we lost power at one of our pump stations the next day, which Duke was repairing things. They cut it off and didn't tell us, and that created an overflow. And we reported that to the state, and Jay since cleaned that up. But they did a great job, and we're appreciative of them. They worked hard, and that took a whole week. Going into one storm, it took about 4 days to get all the equipment ready, everything gassed up. We sit in what they call emergency management meetings that nobody realized. We have this whole phone list and everything else that we go through. We even have a seat down in Anderson we can go sit in if we want to. But we've had about 5 of those during the whole thing, and every day you're checking in. Then you go right out of that, and you got trash routes backed up right into another storm. So that was a lot of work on staff, and I just appreciate everything they were able to do. Council at the time, we were attending Hometown Legislative Action Day for part of it. We had a good trip down there. We were able to meet for representatives. We have asked council for some ideas on what we used to call earmarks. They're now calling a community investment or community infrastructure investment grants. And I have a list there of what I got back from council, which is the South Mechanic Street multi-use path, the East Queen Street Calhoun upgrades, new police department building, Barracks Place playground renovations, Veterans Park, bridge replacement at Max Drive-In, and money to repair stream crossings along the right-of-ways. So we will try to work something up on what we have numbers for and submit back to our delegation and see what they can do for us. Amy had a very busy month. We had to file our DAC filings, which is what we have to file for all of our public bonds. That includes our audit, along with a whole bunch of other information we have to get, and we have to have it filed by the end of the month, along with W-2s and 1099s going out and closing out. Although it's a calendar year, most businesses run on calendar years. We still have stuff we have to close out, even though we run to June 30th. So we have to do that. The doghouse roof we found had a leak in it from something striking it. We're not sure if it was a drone somebody was flying and they flew into the roof, or if it was something caught in the wind that caught it during these storms and went into the roof. But we've had guy roofing out. It's cut all the way down to the roof deck. So there's probably some leakage inside the building now too. They're going to come out and repair it just as soon as they can. Fleet update, our brand new garbage truck. We're trying to get all the warranty work done we can on it. So we have it back at Duncan getting serviced again. And we have our dump truck. Unfortunately, we were down to one dump truck during the storms because this new emission systems they have, you're not used to dealing with diesel trucks. The DEF emission systems are causing a lot of problems, especially if you can't get them regen fast enough, which is you have to go through a process of warming them up. So we have it back at the dealership so that they can replace the emission system in it at no cost to us. So it's under warranty. And I left this one in here. I meant to put an update, but I left it in here. We did get the repair done on Queen Street and Broad. We thought it was actually the hydrant foot. Ended up being they had tapped Carrie's meter off the hydrant foot, which was what was leaking was her service line. So we were able to just put a new service line on. If I hadn't get Duke out there, her service line actually broke, which is what told us it was the service line and not the foot of the hydrant at that point. So that one was repaired. And then Mr. Adger, as far as Morse goes, we had to repair a valve on Queen Street, and we have a valve insertion company coming tomorrow to insert us a valve. That line is what we call an AC line. So it's essentially a concrete line, and it's got a crack in it. And so we're putting another valve somewhere else so we can shut it off so we can cut that whole line out. Otherwise, it's a 6-inch line. If it breaks, we've got no way to cut it off, and then we're really in trouble. One thing during the storm or after the storm, and about 19-degree weather, we spent about 7 hours repairing a break on a ductile iron that froze up. So I do appreciate Public Works going out there and doing that, because if you've never been in water up to your waist in 19-degree weather, you don't know what fun is. So some capital projects, Westinghouse is moving along. Duke finally moved the pole. Our signal crew came in and mounted the signals. We're just waiting on DOT to approve either how they want us to time the lights, and then the person will come in and program the lights, and we'll finish the paving and striping. Crosswalk signals are in on both sides, so all that's moving along. Winston Street, we're at the 95% mark on construction, 80% mark on payout. We're just waiting on the paving to come in. You're not going to pave in 19-degree weather. I doubt they're even running the plant, so you can't keep the asphalt hot enough to even get here. The East Queen Street, we met back with GMC. We have broken out from Bailey to Worley to look at the improvements at the school and the crosswalk, and they're supposed to be getting us back a rough draft number on that and what that'll look like, along with what shrinking the design of Calhoun Street is going to look like. And Bruce parking lot, actually HDH was finally able to get out there today to start the utility work on the Main Street side. They've been working with Main Exchange, coordinating that. So we're going to work from that point up, and then we're going to be able now to bring them in. We've already met with Bruce at the square once. We're going to meet with them again, tell them we're getting ready to start coming into the parking lot at this point. So it won't be but another couple of weeks.
So which retaining wall is mentioned with the Bruce parking lot? Is that the one with the wine bar one?
No, that's the Buddy Durham.
Oh, the Buddy Durham retaining wall. Okay.
So that retaining wall keeps moving slightly, and we have to be at 7 feet. So we moved our sewer line to accommodate Main Exchange. So we're going to be at 7 feet at the back side of the parking lot on the footer of that wall. And that is about a $50,000 power pole sitting at the top of the wall.
Of course.
And then there's another power pole that costs about $30,000 to move. And so we're trying to coordinate, can Duke come and hold those poles while we dig and us brace the wall and dig around it? But at some point, we're going to have to, as a town, address the wall permanently. And it's, I don't even know what that wall is going to cost, but last time I got it priced, about $70,000. So and then mainly it's because of the utilities sitting at the top of it. And it's mainly the poles sitting at the top of it causing us problems.
So when we look at that wall, should we also look at the wall this over behind the candy store, the parking lot over there?
I mean, that would be better to do all the walls at one time. We sent what we call a RFI, it's a request for information to our engineers to ask them, what options do we have? You can't get to what they call a 2-to-1 slope in there. The parking lot would be useless at that point. Because you have to come into the parking lot to create a slope. You can't go back toward the utilities. So, I don't know if there's a whole lot, and to do that whole parking lot and to do the other parking lot, it wouldn't surprise me if that was $250,000 worth of walls.
For both of them?
For both of them. And that's just,
right.
Total guess right there.
But bringing an engineer to look at both of them at the same time would be better than bringing in an engineer for this one and later on the other one. We know there's going to be problems that need to be addressed.
Yeah, you have to have any wall over 5 feet now has to be completely engineered. So also, one last thing, we opened the bids for Village Hills Water and Sewer. They came in about $600,000 under budget. So it's going to end up being about 1.63 million, I think was the low bid. So we were very happy with that. We got $1 million from the state just to do that. And then the state gave us another 400,000 on Central. So we'll move Central's match over here except for the generator on Central. So
I have a question about the Westinghouse light signal. Can we get DOT to kind of group all those from 187 all the way through, I guess the last one is at Tri-County Tech, to make sure those are flowing
I can,
some kind of synchronization?
So I can ask, from what I understand now, they're using AI to synchronize them. So it's got to be foolproof. So, or either it's going to make great pictures of,
So you're telling me every one of those has some kind of camera to watch? I mean, or is it? Is
They
that
have-
what you're telling me?
they
Is that
have
they are
loops.
adjusting based on
yeah,
traffic flow?
that's what they told me. So they have the loops in the ground that trigger, but that silver box over there is what DOT actually controls. So it runs on an automatic system until they notice there's something, and then they try to have them timed so that they run. The problem is that because you got the trigger in the ground, it's essentially counting wait times on cars. So it's not always going to be 100% synced unless they just, I've seen cities where they sync them and you just go right through, and then 30 seconds later it's the other way. So, but yeah, they do talk back and forth to each other.
All right.
So the road closed for Moore Street, how much longer will that road be closed?
So if they get that valve in tomorrow, when are you gonna go out there and put that line in?
8:10, right?
Yeah, we will have it exposed at 07 in the morning. We'll start, the Roper Brothers will be there at 8:30 to start the insertion valve. And that should let us control the water on Moore Street. We can shut that line down for repair and get the road back open. Same day. We've had to utilize ground penetrating radar to verify the lines. So we're open tomorrow. We got it.
And I did ask Chief Paulson to, as we have kind of an increase of construction on the square with the parking lots and with the exchange, it seems like people are just parking everywhere and it's a nightmare. And I feel like when I drove it today, it seemed like it might be hurting our small businesses. And so I did ask Chief Paulson to kind of keep an eye on that to make sure that there's still, places that people can park to make sure that our businesses are flourishing during this time. All right, perfect, thank you.
Steve, I just want to congratulate you and your team on the storm prep. And again, after Helene, you guys did a great job, and it's very comforting to know that when these big weather events happen, that our town is taking the right steps.
Thank you.
Our final report this evening is, sorry, I'm really excited for your report. Our final report this evening is the strategic plan update. Strategic plan coordinator, Councilwoman Lindbergh.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone seems to be off to a strong start in the new year, even though we've had some cold days and some challenging weather. Team 1 has been very productive this month. In the area of branded initiatives, the team has reviewed all the applications, interviewed the final 3, and has made a recommendation for council to consider tonight. Secondly, Team 1 has created a page on the town's website that will reflect action taken by the 3 teams of the strategic planning process. This website is under the government tab on the website, and will allow you, the public, all of you, and the 3 teams to report their updates and achievements. Hopefully that'll keep everybody in the loop a little bit better. Team 2 continues with efforts to review the current benefit package and get feedback from the staff. An employee survey has been completed, and the committee is consolidating that information. And the team has continued to work on employee reviews. Reviews are a new process for the town, and we hope that that they will benefit the employees and the town's organizational process. Team 3 is working towards developing a business recruitment plan. Members have spoken with PABA about getting feedback from the current local businesses. We'll do that at the PABA's February meeting. The team has worked with the Clemson Chamber to get data on shopping trends and leakage. And this team will continue to gather information from other sources on retail and service sectors. Our team leads meeting will be on Friday, and the next quarterly strategic planning review will be on March the 10th.
Thank you. Action items. 9.A, resolution certifying abandoned textile mill site. Item 9. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Item 9.A is the consideration of a resolution to provide certain certifications regarding an abandoned textile mill site located at 244 Cherry Street. This resolution allows the town to certify that the property meets the state definition of an abandoned textile mill site under South Carolina law. This certification is required for the property owner to pursue state income tax credits only. It does not provide any local property tax relief, fee waivers, or financial incentives from the town of Pendleton. This is a technical certification that has been reviewed by the town attorney and is based on documentation submitted by the applicant. At this time, I'll open the floor for council discussion.
Mayor, I'm going to recuse myself from this.
Seeing no further discussion, this action before council is the approval of the resolution as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there a second? Any further discussion?
What exactly does this do?
So essentially, the applicant provided us with information. We then asked our town attorney to look it over. And because they have asked the town to provide a letter, the letter allows them to be eligible for this, for them to be able to apply for this, to the state for this.
What does this do as far as income taxes? Does this affect the money that Jenkins House brings in on tours and things on that line?
I don't think we can ask that. This is, so it should have been in your packet, but it does not provide any, it has really nothing to do with the town of Pendleton. This is just for them to be able to apply with the state. And they just needed a letter from us. And all we are doing is just saying, yes, it's just giving them a letter and saying that based on what we received from the application, it meets the standards for them to be able to apply for this. Okay, perfect. So we have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Perfect, motion carries. Lynn, come back. I don't know where you went. Lynn, come back. Item 9.b is the consideration of a resolution directing staff to explore a potential recreation partnership with the YMCA of Anderson County. This resolution authorizes town staff to conduct an information gathering and feasibility assessment only. It does not authorize any contract, funding commitment, or agreement. The goal is to better understand what a potential partnership could look like, including programming, facilities, staffing, financial considerations, and legal requirements. Any findings will be brought to council at a future meeting for future discussion and direction. At this time, I'll open the floor for council discussion.
Well, I know the PRA, the Pendleton Recreation Association, is excited about the possibilities of this.
Seeing no further discussion, the action before council is the approval of the resolution directing staff to explore a potential recreation partnership and return findings to council. Is there a motion?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Perfect, motion carries. Sorry, I'm trying with the discussion. All right. Item 9.c is the consideration of a resolution requesting the South Carolina Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study for a potential all-way stop at the intersection of Broad Street and South Mechanic Street. This intersection is under SCDOT jurisdiction. Approval of this resolution simply authorizes staff to formally request a traffic study. Any decision regarding traffic control will be made by SCDOT and brought to council if action is required on the town's part. At this time, I'll open the floor for council discussion.
I'd like to comment on the public comment. Carrie talked about a couple of other intersections. Would it be possible, since they're doing the study at the split, could we also do a couple of other intersections since they're going to be in town? Nick is going to do those, right, Steve?
Yeah, Nick Ryder should do. I mean,
I'm assuming he'll do them, right? I'm assuming he's the one doing them, and I think since traffic studies are done at intersections, there are some key intersections in town, and since he's going to be in town, would it be possible to expand the study to get the intersection at Greenville Street and East Queen, which is the one right out here, and then while we're at it, can we get, any data that we need for the main stoplight that we're gonna stop? I've not seen the numbers on that as well. If that's already done, that's great. And then, at the four-way stop at the United Community Bank in Wake and Bake.
We can request that. I do want to say that anytime we bring any of this to SCDOT, I'll be honest, it delays all of our projects, Nancy. So like, I'll give you an example. Like we were like ready to go for, talking to them about a crosswalk, back beside the elementary school. We asked for further studies. That further study is going to delay that project a year. And so I will do my best to try to, to talk to them. But I guess one thing is I would prefer to go to them with one project at a time to get those projects up and moving than to continually cause more things on their plate and further delay. I also want to say that SCDOT approached us about this intersection. I did not approach them. We're going to start having a quarterly meeting with SCDOT. And in my first meeting, I, talked to them about intersections that I felt were very important. I did not bring up Broad and Mechanic Street, although I do know that has been
Bad intersection.
Yeah, been a bad intersection. And they actually came to us and said that based on our research, this is where we suggest that a all-way stop should go. And so this essentially resolution would just give our town staff the permission to direct that. I also did, and you were in that meeting, we met with Sheriff McBride, and we asked him about four-way stops versus traffic signals. And, and he did say that people are more likely to blow through stop signs than traffic signals. And so I don't know if that maybe changes, perceptions. I know it definitely kind of changed mine a little bit because I tend to actually stop at four-ways. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of, I guess, this is an item for discussion, so I just wanted to have a discussion.
But is there a way that we could queue up these other, because normally when you do a traffic study, like I said, you're studying intersections, it doesn't cost that much extra time to get an additional intersection. But if South Carolina DOT is unable to manage more than one intersection at a time, which is quite startling,
Well, it's not,
perhaps
it's
we
not
can
that,
explore.
it's just our area is so big. Like our SCDOT goes all the way from, is it Middlebury or?
96.
Yeah, 96 all the way to us. And so they just have so much going on that
Could we explore perhaps in our budget hearings to find out what it costs to do one? Perhaps we could do our own traffic study and we look at considering that at least, and see what it would cost to do our own, because it's typically around $15,000 an intersection to do a traffic study. And so if we can look at, perhaps we do one and give the data to DOT as a possibility for the other intersections.
I will bring that up when we meet with SCDOT again and see what they say.
Or we do our own.
I just appreciate the priority that's being placed on this. We're talking about it every meeting. I saw that there was the lights out on 187 in Boscobel. The traffic lights are up there now. I don't know how long they've been up there, but I don't know when they're going to start working either. But that's a major thing. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we'd like to do in regards to traffic calming in this town and the crosswalk at the elementary, and that it's a priority, and I appreciate that.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Item 9.d is the consideration of waiving special event fees for the Bishop Branch Baptist Church for their Vacation Bible School Day Camp to be held at Veterans Park this summer. This is a nonprofit community-based program that the town has partnered with in prior years. Council action would waive applicable park rentals and special event fees in accordance with town policy. At this time, I'll open the floor for council discussions.
So is this waiving the total amount or just the fees and the special event fees?
Their request was to pay $150 total for the entire rental of the space and field use.
I just would like, as long as it's discussion, I just would like to say that if we are going to continue to waive fees for nonprofits, that perhaps we have a town policy to do that, that allows our staff to do that. That way we're not constantly bringing this before council every time. So either I think we're gonna start, we just waive the fees and we have a policy that we waive fees for nonprofits, or we don't. I think that would save, our wonderful women working up front and council some time. So just something to consider for future meetings. Seeing no further discussion, the action before council is the approval of the fee waiver request. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 9.8 is the consideration of awarding the bid for the town of Pendleton's branding and cultural identification project. Following a competitive process that included 8 proposals and 4 interviews, staff recommends awarding the bid by destination by design. The final negotiated cost is $38,000, which aligns with the approved budget and includes a strong emphasis on community engagement and transparency throughout the process. At this time, I'll open the floor for council discussion. Seeing no further discussion, the action before council is the approval to award the bid to designation by design. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Just one quick thing, footnote, remember they're gonna coordinate with your decoration committee as well.
Yes, they are, and Lynn is actually on that committee.
Okay.
Perfect.
Also just appreciate all the time that committee put into that, and I hope that we can get it to operate the way that it is saying it's going to.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Upcoming opportunities to connect. I'm just going to kind of briefly go over these, although Chief Boston did a wonderful job of reminding us. On February 10th, Councilwoman Nancy Von Meyer is hosting a listening session along with Chief Paulson at the library from 5 to 6 p.m. On Thursday, February 2nd, community conversations with myself and Mayor Pro Tem Lynn Merchant at the Elks Lodge from 10 to 11. On Sunday, February 15th at 3 o'clock, will be a celebration of the Jenkins House. On Tuesday, February 24th, from 6 to 7, the Pendleton Historic Foundation for Black History and Culture will have a program on Pendleton Trailblazers at the Pendleton Library. And on February 27th, Coffee with the Cops and hint, maybe donuts, strawberries with sprinkles, please, David. From 5:30 to 7 will be Coffee with the Cops, Wake and Bake from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Also, and Nancy reminded me of this today, and so thank you, Nancy. As we head into Valentine's Day, just reminding everyone it's February 14th, I want to take a moment to encourage everyone to support our local businesses, whether it's picking up candy or chocolates or grabbing flowers or enjoying dinner right here in town. Choosing local makes a difference. Our small businesses are the heart of Pendleton, and days like Valentine's Day are an opportunity to celebrate the people we love while also celebrating the people who make our community so special. So I'm asking you to celebrate your sweetheart this Valentine's Day, and I hope you'll consider doing it right here in Pendleton. We will, executive session. We will then consider an executive session under SC Code 30-4-70A1 to discuss appointments to town boards and commissions. Call for a motion to enter executive session.
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.